Me and my sister, twin stars born into the roughest patch of dirt poor luck imaginable. Back when we were at our absolute brokest, trying to scrape together tuition money, the two of us started catfishing people online, using each other's photos. We even caught each other doing it. He lied and told me he was heading into a meeting. I lied and told him I was off to grab bubble tea. The guy I was catfishing online was great in every way, except he was way too obsessed with my sister's face and kept pushing to meet up in person. I kept dodging him until one day, out of nowhere, he messaged me. "Baby, did you get accepted into Jing University? I saw your acceptance letter mentioned at school. We can finally meet. For your welcome gift, do you want a sports car or an apartment?" The pressure got to me instantly. I panicked and blocked him that same night, no hesitation. I figured that was the end of it. Then, on move-in day, my sister got cornered right at the school gate by some ridiculously handsome upperclassman. Disappearing on me, that fun for you, Xia Zhixing? I quietly slipped away in a panic, only to turn a corner and slam straight into another girl. Right as I opened my mouth to apologize, she cut me off with an icy question. "Xia Zhixing, don't you owe me an explanation?" A tall, striking girl stood in front of me, backlit, with sharp, deep-set eyes. She held up her phone screen, a string of red exclamation marks lighting up the chat, absolutely alarming. My eyes landed on the chat background. It was the exact same professionally edited photo I'd pinned to the top of my social media feed. Why the sudden case of amnesia? Those gorgeous, razor-sharp eyes stared me down, dark and intense, radiating pure aggression. When I still didn't say anything, she scrolled through her phone with her long fingers, screen after screen. It was an absolute avalanche of transfer records, interspersed with the occasional message, genuinely dense enough that, if you didn't know better, you'd think it was a chat log between me and the guy who grills skewers downstairs. I sucked in a cold breath, glancing back and forth between her furious, gorgeous face and the transfer history. Whoa, that's a serious collapse. Or maybe I just didn't understand the market rate. Apparently catfishing rich second-generation guys out there could get you results like this. Why didn't I ever land someone like this? I could have been making double what I currently pull in. I shook my head, genuinely disappointed I'd missed out. "Sorry, senior, you've got the wrong guy." My phone buzzed with a notification. I glanced down quick. It was my sister, texting. "Whatever it takes, stall her. I'll explain later." I instantly caught on and switched gears smoothly. "Wow, you really do have sharp instincts, baby." The girl looked like she'd never been called that before. Her finger twitched, landing right on a chat message that came after a transfer of 13,140 yuan. "Thanks, baby. When we meet, I'm totally gonna kiss you." Oh my god. "Sis, you really scared me there. Were you planning to eat and run?" The girl saw the same message pop up, her gaze instinctively dropping to my lips before she quickly looked away, ears flushing red. "So, Xia Zhixing, why exactly did you block me? Was it because I didn't reply fast enough? Or because a transfer came in late? You want to sentence me for that?" I rose up on my toes, and something soft pressed against her mouth, cutting off every impossible question I had no answer for. It was just a light, fleeting touch. But right as we were about to pull apart, a pair of hands locked around the back of my head and pulled me in for a punishing kiss. A pleasant scent of pine instantly filled my senses. Her grip only grew heavier and more insistent, until I instinctively let out a pained gasp. That's when she finally pulled back, her fluffy head dropping down against my shoulder, her entire back heaving with ragged breaths. It was only then, through the haze, that I heard her voice, low and fierce. "Xia Zhixing, I really am done for, aren't I? That's it. If you ever try running from me again, I'll lock you up forever." After the senior walked me to my dorm, she got a call and had to leave for something. That's when I finally got the chance to meet up with my actual sister, under the shade of a big tree by the sports field. The moment we saw each other, we both exploded. I pointed at the lipstick still smeared on her face, making a scene. She pointed at my slightly swollen lips, screeching right back. "Did I raise you this well just so some stranger could kiss you whenever they felt like it? I'm such a perfectly good cabbage, wasted." I rolled my eyes hard. "Oh, so it's fine for the magistrate to burn down the city, but the common folk can't even light a lamp. Wipe the lipstick off your face before you lecture me." My sister was still fuming. "You should have explained. How could you go behind my back and pull something like that?" But she wasn't exactly innocent either. Senior, the transfer records over there had my head spinning. No wonder you only used your food delivery discount coupon once. We both know we usually stack multiple coupons and grab the biggest one available. My sister argued back, craning her neck at me. And you're one to talk. You swapped that knockoff phone for a real one and lied to me, saying it was legit stuff from the grey market. The angrier we got, the closer we came to actually throwing hands, until a group of students who'd just finished gym class wandered over to the other side of the tree to cool off. Hey, did you hear? Senior Song Shi from the student council cornered a freshman right at the school gate today. Barely arrived and already caught the Crown Prince's attention, huh? Well, he practically is one. He's basically in charge of attendance, scholarships, financial aid, the whole system through student council. Cross him and you can kiss your chances at any awards or honours goodbye for your entire college career. Oh, you only know half the story. His brother did the exact same thing, cornered a freshman too. Some ridiculously good-looking underclassman. And that kid left in tears, eyes all red, definitely got bullied. My sister shot me a look of pure grief and fury, too mad to even speak. I quickly patted her back, loving her, sure, but there was no way I could tell her those tears were purely a physiological response to pure ecstasy. The Crown Prince's little brother's probably even harder to deal with than his sister, cold-faced, 24/7. Wait, isn't the university president his uncle or something? You think today's whole standoff wasn't about some romantic entanglement? That's even worse. If it's about money, fine, but knowing how vengeful those two siblings are, whoever's involved is going to get squeezed out of school entirely. Dropping out would be the least of their problems. You clearly have no idea the kind of chaos those two have caused before. If it really was about feelings, you wouldn't just get expelled, you'd get skinned alive. My sister and I exchanged a simultaneous shudder, locked eyes, and immediately whipped out our phones. Argument on pause, swapping accounts and identities was now urgent business. In the library, it took me all of 10 minutes to scroll through the entire chat log of my sister pretending to be me while talking to Song Xian. I found the pattern pretty quickly. Roughly every 2 to 3 transfer records, my sister would send back some ridiculously sappy, syrupy sweet reply. Teach. Figures. Women really do know how to work other women. 24 hours a day, the second I was awake, she was fully on duty, dishing out constant emotional validation. Meanwhile, my sister had only made it through about half of my chat log after half an hour and finally cracked, "You're an octopus." 400 or 500 messages a day with her, and you guys, what even is this conversation? Why do I need a translation team just to understand what you two are even saying? I immediately clamped my hand over the phone. Don't read that one. My sister frowned but opened the compressed folder labelled study notes anyway, and her expression went dark, then darker, like she was meeting me for the first time, scanning me head to toe. She looked ready to march home, kneel in front of our parents' memorial tablet, and apologise, sobbing about how she'd raised me wrong. How am I supposed to face Mom and Dad now, huh? My sister, acting like some strict mother hen, marched over and rapped her knuckles on the table where we were sitting. "Excuse me, this is a library, no cattle allowed." I bit back a laugh and apologised quietly. "Sorry, I'll keep my cow in line." "I'm not his cow," my sister blurted. The person who'd approached us was a bespectacled, refined-looking guy, and the second his eyes met mine, they lit right up. "Hey, are you a freshman? I don't think I've ever seen you around campus before." I eyed him warily and grabbed my sister, pulling her toward the exit like we were fleeing. "Sorry, senior, but I've already got my campus card, water card, e-bike card, and my shower balance is topped up. No interest in joining the student council right now. Sorry, it's not that I'm overly guarded, it's just I've been burned way too many times before." The kind senior under my dorm building, the friendly upperclassman on the shopping street, even the group admin in the school chat who handled messages, every single one of them turned out to be some kind of scam halfway through the conversation. They say you should stay cautious, but sheesh, I hadn't managed to dodge a single one of them. The moment we stepped out of the library, my sister and I both got calls back to back, from the Song siblings, barely finished flipping through textbooks and already facing an exam apparently. We exchanged a look, cleared our throats and picked up simultaneously. "Baby, you done with your stuff? Baby, are you free now?" Song Xian's cold voice came through the receiver, clearly annoyed. Is there a girl with you right now? I shot my sister a glare. It's a little noisy out here, maybe you're mishearing things. My sister took a big step away from me at the same time. No response. Baby, did I hear wrong? Are you really alone? Don't lie to me, baby, you know what I'm capable of. A cold, aloof male voice and a lazy, drawling female voice rang out simultaneously right behind us. Two nearly identical, dangerously charming gazes bore down on us like leopards zeroing in on prey, radiating an overwhelming pressure. My knees went weak for no reason, and my sister instinctively grabbed hold of me to steady me. Across from us, the siblings' expressions darkened another notch. My sister and I steeled ourselves. I let go of her, gritted my teeth, and stepped forward to introduce myself point blank to Song Shiyi. This is my brother-in-law. Hi, brother-in-law. I'm Xia Zhixing's actual little brother. She's told me so much about how handsome her boyfriend is. Finally getting to meet you in person today. Song Shiyi's expression visibly eased up. I'd spent enough time chatting with him to know exactly how his personality worked. Responds to warmth, not pressure. My sister jumped in right on cue, acting even better than I had. Baby, I never actually introduced you two properly. This is my little brother, Xia Zhixing. Her gaze landed on Song Xian, and right as she pretended to look confused about who he was, I quickly looped my arm through Song Xian's, ducking my head shyly. Sis, I never told you either. This is my girlfriend, Song Xian. Song Xian raised an eyebrow. What a coincidence, this happens to be my sister. I could have cried. Yeah, what a coincidence. If my feelings here were even remotely genuine, I would have dropped to my knees right then and thanked fate for this twist. But they weren't, because these two were siblings. It was like chocolate ending up mixed into dog food, like a thoroughbred stallion wandering straight into the middle of a political conspiracy. This was going to be the death of me. Song Xian casually placed her palm over the back of my hand. Let's get dinner tonight then. My treat. Dinner was booked at an upscale restaurant not far from campus. The Song siblings arrived ahead of us, and the moment we walked in, the chandeliers refracting light everywhere made both me and my sister slow our steps involuntarily. The staff greeting us were all in sharp suits. I glanced down at my 99 yuan three-piece t-shirt set and my faded, washed-out canvas sneakers, instinctively tugging at the hem of my shirt. Song Xian seemed to notice something. He paused his steps, waiting for me to catch up, then naturally took my hand, lacing our fingers together. My palm was breaking out in a cold sweat, and I could clearly feel the warmth of his hand through it. I froze for a second, instinctively wanting to pull away, but he acted like he hadn't noticed and just kept walking, leading me forward. At the end of the hallway, Song Shiyi poked his head out of a private room, smiling and waving. Little brother, come here. My heart dropped instantly. A hand pushed against my back from behind, and I instinctively turned to look. My sister was already being ushered by Song Xian into a different private room. We locked eyes across the hallway, both of us looking like we were about to be marched to our executions. This was it. They were splitting us up for separate interrogations. I knew my sister would be useless as backup. The second the door to my room closed, I was about 10 seconds from just confessing everything on the spot for a lighter sentence. A dazzling array of formal outfits hung neatly on a rack, and a professional stylist was already waiting. Song Xian walked over and pinched my palm, unable to hold back a laugh. Nervous? I nodded honestly. I thought you were going to... I choked back the rest of what I was about to say. Song Xian's smile deepened. All of this was arranged by Shiyi this afternoon. He even skipped his student council work to spend the whole afternoon picking out clothes for you. If my dad and his mum ever found out, who knows what kind of scene that would cause. That last line came out light and breezy, and it completely flew over my head. When my sister and I saw each other again, we just stared at each other over and over, in complete disbelief that we'd both survived. The Song siblings watched us with amusement, and even the waitstaff passing by clearly assumed we were just two poor siblings seeing luxury for the first time. What none of them knew was that we were secretly texting each other, comparing notes in real time. Song Shi's allergic to peaches, sis. Did Song Xia ever mention anything he doesn't eat? My sister paced in a circle while following my lead. No, she doesn't seem to be picky. We rarely talk about that stuff. Relax, no issues there. But no issues turning out to actually mean big issues. I couldn't afford to let my guard down. The whole dinner, from appetizers to entrees, went smoothly. Song Xian turned out to be far more attentive than I'd expected. She could always tell the second I wanted to try something but felt too awkward to reach for it, and the next bite would appear on my plate like magic before I'd even finished the last one. Song Shiyi and my sister got along even more smoothly than I'd imagined. You could tell he genuinely adored my sister's face, and watching her occasionally duck her head shyly, I could only conclude, every woman eventually meets the overbearing alpha male of her destiny. By the time dessert arrived, I was already about 90% full, drifting in that pre-food coma haze. The waitstaff brought out 4 different flavors of snowflake shaved milk ice, the ice cream on top even sculpted into different shapes. Just as I was about to eagerly take a bite, I noticed Song Shiyi's bowl in front of him was peach strawberry flavored, and he hadn't touched his utensils at all, just resting his chin in his hand, smiling warmly at my sister. I snapped fully alert instantly, stomping on my sister's foot under the table, hard enough to spark a fire. She finally caught on, hastily swallowing her last bite and grabbing Song Xian's bowl instead. Baby, aren't you allergic to peaches? Why would you eat peach flavor? My sister had already dug a huge scoop out of her own bowl. Switching again now would look weird, and swapping for mine didn't quite fit either. Quick on my feet, I picked up the bowl in front of Song Xian and asked her, "Is this okay? I remember you don't mind peaches, right?" Surely siblings wouldn't have opposite allergies. Sure enough, Song Xian nodded, and my sister seized the opening and slid right out of the awkward spot. Song Shi's gaze met mine, then flicked over to Song Xian, his smile deepening further. Halfway through her shaved ice, something seemed off with Song Xian. The entire curve of her neck was suddenly exposed to view, dense red hives spreading rapidly down her skin, even worse under her clothing. We were sitting close enough that I noticed her throat working hard as she swallowed. "Xia Zhixing, what are you—" She could barely get the words out. Song Xian, stop eating, you're having an allergic reaction." My sister shot up in shock. "Wait, what? Isn't it your brother who's allergic?" Song Xian patted the back of my hand reassuringly. "I'm fine. If you gave it to me, I was always going to eat it." I was nearly in tears with panic. Swapping the shaved ice had been my idea. If something actually happened to her, there was no way I'd be able to live with myself. In the end, it was Song Shi who calmed everything down, lightly tapping the table. I looked up at him. He met my eyes, glanced over at Song Xian, his smile deepening even further, and explained, half reassuring, half amused, "Actually, our whole family's allergic to peaches. My sister just needs a mild allergy shot and she'll be fine." The allergy medication kicked in fast, but it also made her drowsy. In the emergency room, Song Xian's eyelids were fighting to stay open, but she still held tightly onto my hand, like she was afraid someone might hurt me if she let go. The hives along her neck had mostly faded by now, and I finally let out a breath of relief, speaking softly to comfort her. "Get some sleep, you'll feel better once you wake up." She wouldn't let go of my hand, wouldn't close her eyes, exactly like earlier, when I was chatting with her brother and she refused to sleep, stubbornly insisting I keep her company instead. I laughed. "Is there something on my face? Can you tell I like what I see? I used to imagine what you looked like before we ever met in person. Now that I have, you're even better than I imagined." Her fluffy head dropped against the cushion of my neck and she pulled herself even tighter into my arms. My sister hadn't even talked to him that long. How did she get him so completely infatuated? This kind of hopeless romantic type really doesn't come around often. It was almost a shame. The whole thing had been built on a lie from the very start. Song Shiyi knocked on the door outside the room. Hearing his voice, Song Xian's arm around my waist instinctively tightened. For some reason, I thought I caught a flicker of wariness in her eyes when she looked at him. "It's getting late. The dorms are about to lock up. I'll take the 2 of you home first." "You coming with me, little brother?" Song Shi yawned. "I'll skip it. I'll have Uncle Liu drive you. Been a lot going on with the semester starting. I'm exhausted. I know you 2 lovebirds just met and are still in the honeymoon phase, but it's definitely not a good look if word gets out on day 1 that you spent the night out." Song Xian finally let go of my hand at that, Text me when you get back to school, don't forget. Back in my dorm, before I'd even changed clothes, I sent Song Shi-yi a quick, made it back safe text. My roommate across from me, Nuan Yang, hopped down from his bunk like an excited little rabbit. Zixing, you look so handsome in that outfit. Way better than the photos people post on the confession wall. I froze. Confession wall? Nuan Yang pulled up the school's confession wall, showing me the latest posts. You seriously don't know. You went viral on the confession wall today. 8 out of 10 fishing for info posts today are about you. He scrolled down to the most popular one. Save me. Anyone know who this insanely good-looking freshman is I ran into at the library today? The comment section already had hundreds of replies. Give me his entire life story in 3 minutes. I ran into him too, right at the school gate, pic attached. OP, I also ran into this underclassman at the library today. I want his contact info. Brave soul above, did you get it? No, but my neighbour's little brother also got into this school, might be roommates with him, asked him to help me out. Got it, share it, sisters help sisters. Me too, right now. On the tree-lined avenue, the snow-topped guy wearing a sharp little suit, but there was a girl next to him. Please tell me that's not his girlfriend, photo attached. That photo happened to be the exact shot from earlier of my sister walking me back to my dorm. Nuan Yang leaned in conspiratorially, pointing at my sister's half-visible profile in the picture. Tisk, 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 that's your girlfriend, right? What a match, tall guy, pretty girl. Right as I was about to deny it, my other roommate, Yun Feng, crowded in too. There were 2 hot topics on the confession wall today. One's fishing for info about you, the other's about some junior apparently already having a boyfriend. I glanced at the pictures they'd posted. Sure enough, while Nuan Yang and Yun Feng kept chattering away, our dorm room, a quad, had one more roommate, Bai Ling, sitting quietly on his bed. Bai Ling, come chat with us for a bit. When I suddenly called out to him, he seemed startled, eyes darting nervously. No, I'm good, I'm pretty tired today. Want to turn in early? The second Nuan Yang heard someone wanted to sleep, he called it. Bai Ling's turning in, all right? Break it up, guys. We've got early morning military training tomorrow too. Song Shi-yi didn't come back to campus until the 3rd day. After being discharged, he'd gone back to his family estate to spend a few days with his parents. By the time he returned to school, I'd already been selected for the flag-bearing honor guard formation. Small world, my sister ended up in the same training group as me. During training, we both stayed extra formal and proper in front of everyone. But the moment we were dismissed, we'd immediately start teasing each other mercilessly. Aside from Nuan Yang, who I'd found a moment to tell privately, nobody else knew we were actually siblings. When Song Xian came to find me, she happened to catch our formation doing a song pulling, or basically picking out one good-looking guy from the group to sing on demand for entertainment. The first one dragged out was my roommate, Bai Ling. He was naturally introverted and stood there awkwardly in the middle of the field, not knowing what to do with his hands. I couldn't stand watching it, so I kicked my sister forward instead. Coach, why don't we ever pick the girls to sing? Someone from another formation complained. Every other formation just picks guys. Why is your formation making such a big deal out of this? The coach looked troubled. It's just for fun during a break. Don't take it so seriously. Don't guilt trip us over this. No way. My sister and I grew up scraping by together, depending only on each other. We were not the type to just roll over and take it lying down. I fired right back, and sure enough, some other girls started stepping up to volunteer too. See, you guys are the ones making a big deal out of nothing. My sister jumped in instantly, playing along even better than I expected. Yeah, just because I'm tone deaf doesn't mean people don't want to hear me sing. That's Holmesley, kind of hurdle. Sov in the former Chion scoffed coldly. Xia Zhixing, quit the act, you're all chatty and open online, but suddenly playing all reserved and proper in real life.